The FIFA World Cup 2026, the biggest football tournament in history, 48 teams, 3 host nations, billions of viewers, and a celebration the world has never seen before. But behind the bright stadium lights, behind the celebrity performances, and behind the millions of cheering fans, there may be a darker story nobody wants to talk about. A story involving money, politics, corruption, surveillance, and secrets hidden beneath the surface of the beautiful game. Because while fans see football, powerful organizations see something else: control, influence, and billions of dollars. Tonight, we uncover the dark truth behind the FIFA World Cup 2026. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is unlike any tournament before it. For the first time in history, 48 national teams will compete. 104 matches will be played. 3 countries will host together: United States, Canada, Mexico. FIFA claims this expansion is meant to grow the game globally. But critics believe the real reason is much simpler: money. More teams means more matches, more sponsors, more advertisements, more TV rights, more ticket sales, more streaming revenue. Experts estimate FIFA could generate over $11 billion from tournament. That's not just football anymore. That's an empire. And whenever this much money exists, controversy follows. FIFA's history of corruption. To understand the fears surrounding World Cup 2026, we first need to understand FIFA itself. For decades, FIFA has faced allegations of corruption. In 2015, the football world exploded when U.S. investigators arrested several FIFA officials in a massive corruption scandal. Authorities accused officials of bribery, fraud, money laundering, secret deals. The scandal shocked fans worldwide. Even former FIFA president Sepp Blatter became one of the most controversial figures in football history. Many people began asking, if corruption happened before, could it still be happening now? Critics argue that FIFA became less about football and more about power. And according to some investigators, World Cup bidding processes have long been surrounded by suspicious politics and hidden negotiations. Even today, many fans still distrust FIFA, especially after the controversies surrounding the 2022 World Cup. The 2022 World Cup in Qatar was one of the most controversial sporting events ever. Why? Because reports claimed thousands of migrant workers suffered terrible conditions while building stadiums and infrastructure. Human rights organizations raised serious concerns: dangerous working environments, low wages, worker exploitation, extreme heat conditions. The backlash was global. Some fans even called for boycotts. Meanwhile, critics accused FIFA of ignoring ethical concerns because of financial interests. This created a dangerous question for World Cup 2026. Will profits matter more than people again? But this time, the concerns are different, and in some ways, even more disturbing. World Cup 2026 may become the most technologically monitored sporting event in history. Experts predict facial recognition cameras, AI crowd tracking, mass digital surveillance, real-time fan monitoring. Supporters say these systems improve security. But critics warn they could invade privacy on a massive scale. Imagine entering a stadium where your face is scanned, your movements are tracked, your purchases are monitored, your phone activity is analyzed. Some fear the World Cup could become a testing ground for advanced surveillance technology, especially in major cities across North America. Security experts argue global events are often used to test systems later expanded into everyday society. And fans may not even realize how much data is being collected. The question becomes, at what point does security become control? The World Cup is no longer just a tournament. It's one of the largest commercial machines on Earth. Sponsors spend billions to attach their names to the event. Huge corporations compete for advertising rights, exclusive partnerships, streaming deals, branding opportunities, and every second of your attention has value. Some analysts believe FIFA's expansion to 48 teams isn't really about fairness or opportunity, but maximizing profit. More teams mean more countries emotionally invested, more viewers, more gambling activity, more merchandise sales, and yes, sports betting is expected to explode during World Cup 2026. Experts predict billions of dollars in global gambling revenue. This raises another concern. Can football stay pure when gambling industries become deeply connected to the sport? Some fear manipulation, others fear addiction, but everyone agrees on one thing: there is simply too much money involved. Hosting the World Cup sounds exciting, but some local communities fear hidden consequences. Large sporting events often bring rising prices, increased policing, heavy surveillance, housing pressure, temporary displacement in some past international events. Local residents complained that billions were spent on tourism and stadiums, while ordinary people struggled financially. Critics argue mega events can prioritize visitors over residents. And in 2026, several cities across North America are expected to face massive security operations, traffic chaos, tourist overcrowding, infrastructure pressure. Some fear vulnerable communities may be pushed aside to create a perfect image for global audiences, because when the world is watching, governments want everything to look flawless, even if reality is different behind the scenes. Football and politics have always been connected, but World Cup 2026 could become one of the most politically charged tournaments ever. Why? Because the world is deeply divided right now. Political tensions, economic uncertainty, global conflicts, immigration debates, and the World Cup arrives in the middle of it all. Some experts believe governments may use the tournament as a tool for international image building, political influence, national branding. The event will place enormous attention on United States, Mexico, Canada. Every security issue, every protest, every controversy could become global news within seconds. And with social media stronger than ever, one viral moment could change everything. In previous World Cups, fans simply watched football. Now, fans fight online every second. World Cup 2026 will likely become the most streamed, the most clipped, the most memed, and the most controversial tournament ever online. AI-generated fake videos, misinformation, propaganda, celebrity drama, political narratives, everything spreads instantly. Experts warn deepfake technology could create fake scandals during the tournament. Imagine fake player interviews, false controversies, edited violence, clips, fake political statements. Millions could believe them before the truth emerges. In the digital age, the battle is no longer only on the pitch, it's online. Sports betting is expected to dominate World Cup 2026. Betting companies are already preparing massive campaigns. And with online gambling apps growing rapidly, many experts worry about addiction among younger audiences. Critics argue football is becoming too connected with betting culture. Fans can now gamble on goals, yellow cards, penalties, injuries, even individual moments during matches. This creates dangerous concerns. Match integrity, fan manipulation, financial harm, some form of. Players have warned that excessive gambling influence could damage football permanently. Because when billions depend on outcomes, pressure becomes enormous. FIFA is one of the most powerful sports organizations in human history. Some even compare its influence to governments. Think about it. The World Cup can affect economies, influence politics, shape media narratives, control global attention for 1 month. Billions of people focus on FIFA. That kind of influence is extraordinary. And critics argue there is often very little transparency behind the scenes. Questions remain. How are deals negotiated? Who profits most? Who controls broadcasting? What agreements happen privately? Most fans never see this side of football. They only see the matches. But behind every major sporting event, there is an entire world of power operating quietly in the background. Some fans fear football is changing forever. Old school supporters say the sport has become too corporate, too commercial, too political, too controlled by money. Ticket prices continue rising. Streaming subscriptions multiply. Exclusive broadcasting deals lock fans out. And social media algorithms prioritize controversy over passion. The fear is simple. Is football still about the fans, or has it become entertainment controlled by corporations and billion-dollar interests? World Cup 2026 may answer that question, because this tournament represents the future of sports. And not everyone likes where that future is heading. Security agencies are preparing for massive risks during World Cup 2026. Potential threats include cyber attacks, stadium security breaches, political protests, online misinformation, crowd incidents, because the larger the event, the larger the target. And experts warn that managing millions of fans across multiple countries is an enormous challenge. One major incident could instantly dominate global headlines. And in the social media era, panic spreads faster than ever before. This is why authorities are expected to deploy unprecedented security systems. But again, that raises the same question. How much control is too much? So what is the real dark truth behind FIFA World Cup 2026? Maybe it's not one single conspiracy. Maybe the truth is something bigger. The World Cup has become a mirror of our modern world. A world driven by money, technology, power, influence, attention. Football is no longer just a game. It's business, politics, entertainment, data, control. And while billions of fans celebrate together, massive organizations quietly compete for influence behind the scenes. Still, despite every controversy, people will watch, because football has a power unlike anything else. It unites strangers, creates legends, and gives the world moments nobody forgets. That is why the World Cup remains so powerful. And perhaps that is exactly why so many powerful people want control over it. What do you think? Is FIFA World Cup 2026 the future of football or the beginning of something darker? Comment below. And if you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe for more deep dives into sports, power, mystery, and global events. Because sometimes the biggest stories in the world are hidden behind the brightest lights.